Mechanical issues, as we mentioned, on board a Via Rail train have left passengers stranded on board for more than 12 hours. The CBC's Mark Carcasole joins us for more on this story. We're just getting some new details now. What do we know?
Yeah, well, essentially this whole situation, Arthi, has to do with the way train travel works, right? If there's a blockage on the track, everything gets backed up behind it. And in this case, it is one particular train that has had mechanical issues, and there are two now backed up behind it. So as Arthi mentioned, hundreds of passengers stranded trying to figure out what to do next. Here is the statement from Via Rail about exactly what happened. It says, quote, overnight, trains 669, 48, and 54 were significantly disrupted after train 669 experienced a mechanical failure near Brockville. We sincerely apologize to all customers who are affected. All affected customers will receive a full refund and a 100% travel credit. It goes on to say, while incidents like this are very rare, we recognize that even one such experience is too many. A full review of the mechanical failure is underway to understand what happened and to strengthen both our operations and our response. Now, throughout the morning, our newsroom at CBC Ottawa has been receiving emails from passengers on those trains talking about their ordeal. They've sent us photos. They've talked about the fact that they've had to stay on the train overnight. It's been 11, 12, 13 hours for some now at this point. We just got an email from one of those passengers on train 48 who says that now they've been told that everyone is to leave train 48. All passengers have been brought to the station in Brockville, and another train is being arranged to take the rest of the passengers through to Ottawa and en route to the eastbound destination where they were going. Now, what we were told by Via Rail officials earlier this morning was that people are allowed to get off in Brockville, but from there's no alternative transportation being provided. So people essentially have to find their own ways to their destination from there. We don't know at this point, with the situation being so fluid, rapidly evolving as it is, whether that is still the case or not, but that's what we were told maybe an hour or so ago by a Via Rail media contact. They also say that there are trains, there's another train en route to the area to bring portable devices to secure the defective equipment in train 669. That's being sent by a different train. There's no estimated time of arrival for that, though. So we don't know exactly how long this situation is going to stand for, Arthi. And as I was saying to Angie a little earlier today, you know, I'm sure customers are happy to see that there's some monetary recourse, but the time away from family, the time stuck on a train not going anywhere for half a day, that's stuff that money can't really buy. So there's definitely going to be a lot of hard feelings, I would think.
And Via Rail has run into issues before, too.
They have. Not long ago, 2024, there was a train on the Montreal line that went through something similar. Via Rail had to address that situation very quickly and very seriously. So I think that's why they stress in their message that this doesn't happen often, but it is sometimes the nature of rail travel.
Okay. Mark, thank you for this. That is the CBC's Mark Carcasole reporting. So let's get a better idea of what it's like to be stranded on that Via train 48, as we just heard about from Mark, that became stuck on the tracks again, and that is in Brockville, Ontario. Kiya Parvar joins us now, and he was one of the passengers who was on this train. You're off the train now, just a few minutes ago, and you've heard some news that you might be able to board another one in about 15 or 20 minutes or so. What happened?
Yeah, exactly. That's actually what they told us, and they were like, "Yeah, this is something that was just announced to us, and we evacuated the train." So we were basically hoping that this new train comes soon and basically releases us from this uncertainty that we've been dealing with for the past 12, 13 hours. The main problem was it was uncertain. We were waiting that we had this hope that this is going to be resolved within the next hour, next half an hour. You know, you have that feeling that it's just going to be resolved. It's just around the corner. But no, it never happened. With the sunrise, we were like, yeah, this is not going to be a problem that can be solved anytime soon.
So how are you feeling right now? I understand from my producers that you were even looking for other ways to get to your destination. You're heading for Ottawa, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And I already made arrangements with my wife to come pick me up here. She was on her way here before they made the announcement for the new train. So I basically asked her to stop this commute that is a little unnecessary. But my situation is not as bad as many other ones. There are elderly people. There are people who can not walk properly, and there are people that I overheard people that actually are in need of medication. Thankfully, Via Rail personnel were really helpful. They were very much on the same boat with us. So I really appreciate their help in this situation. They were very, very helpful and kind to us.
Kiya, what was it like being on this train when it initially stopped moving? What went through your mind, and then it carried on like that for hours?
Well, as it was mentioned before on the show, it's the nature of train travel, and I'm a frequent customer of Via Rail. I've been for a few years now, and things like this happen. When they told us that there's another train on ahead of us, and it's just like blocking the tracks, I was like, yeah, this is just like an ordinary thing that happens all the time. But again, with the time passed, I noticed that might be like a little bit of a bigger situation than what initially was announced or was discovered. And I think for Via Rail also, it was a developing situation. They didn't really know initially how bad the situation is.
You mentioned that there were a lot of other passengers who were on this train where the situation was not something that would have been easy to handle. There might be those who were elderly, those with young children, those who might need medication. Yeah. What sort of conversations were you having with these people who you were stuck on a train with for a lot longer than you thought?
Yeah, I mean, again, the same thing. There was like always like this glimpse of hope that like things are going to be resolved within the next half an hour, next hour or something like that. You never think that you're going to be here for like 12, 13 hours straight. So it's like nobody plans for that, like including like Via Rail personnel. So that was a bit of a shock that when I look at the past like 12, 13 hours, see like how I spent it, thankfully it was heated. Thankfully we were being fed. There was water. They were offering us with free coffee and snacks and everything. So we were taken care of. But the time and for example, today is a complete write-off for my work because I didn't sleep. And once I go back home, I probably need to catch up on some sleep to be functional again, right? So that is that.
Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering, do you have a sense from Via Rail? You said there was an announcement that a train may be arriving to kind of reroute passengers or at least take passengers to the destination in the next 15 minutes or so. Do you know then when you'll finally get to where you're trying to go?
That's what we've been told. And I heard an announcement from the station that a train is on the way to be here within the next 15 minutes. So, yeah. We'll see if that happens and when that happens. But yeah, okay. That's what we've been told as well.
So Kiya, when did you leave and when do you think you'll finally get to where you're trying to go to?
Well, I mean, like I'm hoping to be in Ottawa at some point in the afternoon at this rate. But we'll see. We'll see where that goes. I know that at the time, Via Rail was looking for bus options as well, but finding a lot of buses or as many buses as needed for these many people, for passengers on board, I understand it can be like a very challenging task to do from a town like Brockville. But I've heard that they were looking for buses in Toronto, and I think before this new train was arranged, like these buses were already arranged and they were on their way. But yeah.
Kiya, I want to thank you for joining us and sharing your experience with us. Good luck getting to Ottawa. We certainly hope the best for all of the passengers trying to get to their destinations, and we appreciate your time.
Oh, yeah, no, thanks for having me.
That is Kiya Parvar. He is a passenger on a Via Rail train that has been stuck for about 12 hours. Thanks.